Welcome back. Today we are continuing our work through the book of Qoheleth. That's Ecclesiastes chapter 3. And we will be doing verse 15 in this video. The video immediately afterward, we'll be dealing with verse 16. Unless this just goes fast enough, then I may include that one. I'm aiming for 15-minute bite-sized chunks. All right? So we're still doing the same amount of time, maybe a bit more, but I'm breaking it into 2 videos per day instead of 1. So maybe you want to get one on your way to work, get one on your way home, something like that. Or if you're with us in the live premiere, you can just continue on and get redirected to the next video with a 1-minute break in between. Let me just start with an opening prayer, which I will not be doing in the verse 16 because we'll be continuing kind of a sitting session. Adonai, כן יהי רצון, כי אנחנו יכולים ללמוד טוב בעיניך. תשמור נא אותנו, אבא, מכל רע. אנחנו יודעים כי רק אתה אלוהי, אלוהינו, רק אתה אלוהי ישראל. אין אחר אלוה בלתך. תשמור נא אותנו, כי אנחנו בני נחלתך. All right, so let's get started with Qoheleth, chapter 3, verse 15. מה shehayah kh'var hu, va'asher lihyot kh'var hayah. So maybe that's good to stop with the etnachta. That's this little guy here, you see, looks like a wishbone. I learned it as etnachta. Some call it nach, others etnachta. Anyway, same thing. That's a sense sign. And it's functioning here as a kind of semicolon in the middle of the verse. Okay. All right. Ma, mem, hey, ma. What does that mean? This is the interrogative particle. It means what? What? Sometimes it can mean something else, but what is what it means here. What? Shehayah. Or I should say shehayah. Sure. The she is short for asher. It's this word here, asher. By the way, you don't have to look at my screen if you're an auditory learning and you want to just listen, or perhaps you're commuting. That's fine. Just listen. I'm trying desperately to implement both auditory learners and visual learners into this process. So, shehayah. Oops, sorry. Sorry, I was interrupted. I had to pause. So hopefully I am at the right place. Ma, what? She, asher, which, or that. Hayah. Hey, yod, hey. This is a third person, masculine, singular, perfect form of the verb. So it was. Ma, she, hayah, kh'var. Kh'var, kaf beit resh, means already. So literally, ma, what? She, which, or that. Hayah, was. Kh'var, already. Who? It. Or it is. So it's something like that which has been, already is, or already was. We could think of this as that. So I'm trying to get my laser pointer. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it doesn't. That which was, he is already. Right? So that which was, it's already here. Va asher. So the va is the conjunction, right? Conjunction. Asher, which, lihyot. Lihyot. This is the infinitive form of hayah. Hayah, remember I've taught you that verbs that end in a hey, when you make an infinitive out of it, like to be, they become an ot. So hayah, lihyot. Paneh, to turn, lifnot. Ra'ah, he saw, lir'ot, to see. And here hayah, he was, lihyot, to be. So being literal with this, va asher, and what? Lihyot will be. Right, so clearly we're talking about future events. Kh'var, hayah, already, hayah, has been. So let's put that together again. Shehayah, that which was, kh'var, who, it already is, or it's here now. Asher, and that which, lihyot, literally to be, but the infinitive can be used this way sometimes to express like an imperfect, like a future. So that which, obviously it sounds wrong in English, that which to be, but you can even feel it in English if we're hyper literal with the Hebrew, that which to be, talking like caveman, kind of, you can tell it's talking future, right? So in English, I think we're justified to say, and that which will be, kh'var hayah, already, hayah, has been. How you guys doing? Any comments or questions? Please make sure if you're watching this later to enable the replay of the chat. There's often some interesting comments and questions that happen in the live chat during our premieres. All right, continuing. Veha Elohim yivakesh et nirdaf. Okay. Veha, and the Elohim, God, and the God. So again, that hey, that's showing us there's definiteness. It's a definite article. Veha Elohim, and the God, Yivakesh. Yivakesh. So the verbal root is beit, kuf, or kof, however you like to call that, shin. And this is a piel form. So usually with this verb, you're going to see a strong dagesh in the middle of the word. That is expressing the piel binyan, the intensified meaning. And bikesh means to seek, to seek. The ye, we have the blue at the front, that shows us the person of the verb. So ye means he will bikesh. He, just reminding that the yod at the beginning of an imperfect verb, when there's no ending, no affixed ending, the person that indicates is he. So ye, he, vakesh, seeks. As an imperfect, this can either be, generally speaking, like a present tense ongoing verb in English or a future. So he seeks. And we also have some special emphasis here because the subject is coming before the verb. The usual word order in Hebrew is verb followed by subject. So when you get that mixed up, we end up with something kind of special happening. So I've added something else to the legend over here. Many of you know this already, but I wanted to make sure to have the note here that when I use magenta, that is usually expressing emphasis, right? So since the normal word order is verb followed by subject, here's our verb, so we expect our subject here or a little bit over here. Instead, it's in the front. Here we have subject and then the verb. That expresses emphasis in biblical Hebrew syntax. And so there's another thing too that I want you to see. You see I'm sorry, you don't have to see this. If you're auditory, you can just listen. There's a vav in front of it. It's ve ha Elohim. So sometimes the vav expresses a function that we call the vav emphaticum, right? Emphatic vav, or emphatic. In grammar, it's written as emphatic waw, emphatic w, since this used to be a w sound. Like unquestionably, no linguist worth his salt doubts that this was a w sound in biblical and ancient Hebrew, as it is in all the other Semitic languages. So to this day. So sometimes it's like an exclamation point. So I think the writer is using a tool here. You didn't have to say and the God here. So I think he's using a tool. He's got and, but we don't really need to translate it as and. It's really an emphasizing function, which really sometimes and can do that a bit in English as well. But anyway, there's an emphasizing function. So it's like an exclamation point. And then we have the fact that the subject is coming before the verb. That's more emphasis. So he's making sure you don't miss, hey, there's something going on here. Look at this emphasis. So ma shehayah kh'var, that which was already, it is, like now. So he's talking past and then present. Ve'asher lihyot, and that which is to be, kh'var hayah, already was. Veha Elohim, again, out of order. We expect subject to be over here, out of order. Veha Elohim, the God, Yevakesh, seeks et nirdaf. This is kind of beautiful how it's written. So, et, aleph tav, the definite direct object marker. We don't translate, of course. And then the verb here, the verbal root, resh, dalet, fe, radaf, is to pursue, to chase after. And this can be literal or can also be kind of metaphorically. Like for those of you who know Psalm 23, the psalmist near the end says, Ach tov v'chesed yirdefuni. Surely, tov, goodness, which also could have been tuv, goodness, the chesed, and kindness, right? Or love even, right? Or grace. You defuni. You redef ni. So the you and the u, it's they will radaf. This verb, they will resh, dalet fe, they will pursue me. V'shavti b'veit Adonai le'orch yamim, and I will dwell in the house of Adonai for lengthy days. A metaphor meaning forever. Okay? Rather than idiom, sorry. Okay, so radaf means he pursued. If it just said radaf, it would mean he pursued, okay? But that's not what it is. We have a noon here, and then if you look to our legend, this kind of purple, granted I didn't do the exact right purple color. I did kind of a mauve. I want to make it, I might change it to be more mauve, so it's more visible. This is modifying the verbal stem to make a different verbal stem, to make a different verbal root, a binyan. Okay, not a verbal root, pardon me, a binyan. And again, I've been kind of pushing this video a lot. If you haven't checked it out, please check out in my language snippets playlist. Look, we have over 1,000 videos here. I think it's over 1,100 now that are public. I have many that are not public as well, right? That are on this channel. And I have many that are on another channel that ye know not of. Anyway, and this one has a picture of a menorah. If you're not familiar with the Hebrew stems, the verbal stems, I highly recommend you watch it. And it will show you the beauty and the beautiful orthogonality of the Hebrew verbal system, where there are 7 primary verbal stems, or binyanim, as we call them in the Jewish dikduk, the Jewish grammar. The dikduk of the Yidden. I think you'll like that. Anyway, if you got 15 minutes to spare, go check it out. So the noon prefix is one of the telltale signs that this is the nifal binyan. That's what we call it, the nifal, N-I-P-H-A-L. Some write it as F. I prefer to do PH because it reminds us the fe. Sometimes it's a P, sometimes it's PH. Anyway, whatever. This is most of the time how biblical Hebrew expresses passive, right? So instead of he hit the ball, right, where the ball is the object, if we want to make the ball into the subject but keep the same kind of verbal root, we have to say the ball was hit by him, right? Or the ball was hit. That's what the nifal does. It makes it usually, not always, usually, it makes it passive. There's some rare times where it means something like that, like with yada in the nifal, it can actually have a causative meaning, like to make known, which clarifies a lot of the problems when the Bible says, when God says to Moshe Rabbeinu that Avram Avinu, he's talking about the patriarchs or whatever, he's saying that my name, Yod-Heh-Waw-Heh, it was not, and he uses yada in the nifal, to know. And so people who haven't dug deep to see what that really means in the nifal, they think it only is passive, like was not known to him. And that's a problem because we see Yod Heh Vav right there in the text, unless you just assume it's scribes updating the text later, right? In this case, it's more than likely Hashem did not make it known, but Avraham Avinu figured it out because God's name means something. Yod He, Waw He means something. It means He brings into existence. He brings into existence, which is one of the reasons that we know how to say His name. And no, it's not Yehovah. That's absolute nonsense. So here, nirdaf, if radaf means he pursued, nirdaf means he was pursued or it was pursued. And this whole time, we've kind of been talking about this esoteric ma. Man, I tried to make it laser pointer and it changed. Ma, like what? Almost like that what, or mashe, that which hayah has been, right? What asher hayah, that which has been, or what is it that has been? Kh'var, it already is. Va'asher, and that which lihyot will be, kh'var hayah, it already has been. Ve'ha Elohim, now the God, yuvakesh, he seeks et nirdaf. So it's kind of implying that which is sought. You understand? That which is chased after. Okay, any comments or questions? So I think we've come to the end of our first lesson for today, verse 15. Stick with us if you're in the premiere. There'll be a 1-minute countdown to verse 16. The link should show up. If you have autoplay on, you'll be redirected to the next live premiere. If not, then the link will be there, and I will also have the link in the chat. If you look in the chat and also in our Telegram spaces, I will see you over there.